All right, a little guitar tutorial for you, sort of. How to get a good tone out of your guitar and your amp. So right now I'm playing through a Marshall Origin 20-watt head through a Harley Benton with a Celestion cabinet. And this is my tone without any pedals. So this is actually with the gain turned way up on the amp. I'm actually running on the lowest wattage setting. I'm trying to get as much juice out of that without getting crazy loud. But it's pretty clean still. And it's super dry. So currently what I have the amp set at is I've got my treble almost pegged. It's about 9.5. Got my bass, got my middle at 6. Got my bass at 3. And it's got this tilt knob deal, and I'm not even sure what that does, but it's cranked. And then I've got my, there's a boost option where you can pull your, what is it called? The gain knob out, and it's cranked. So it's pulled out and it's cranked. And that's all the gain I'm getting out of that Marshall. And this is supposed to replicate, you know, an old school, like, I guess, kind of a 1960s style, what do they call those? I'll get back to you on that. But anyway, an old school Marshall. Now, to get this to sound closer to what I'm looking for, I have a British gain pedal, which is supposed to emulate a Marshall. So it's the British Joyo. I'm adding that here. See what this sounds like. To me, that sounds really good. A lot of times, what you're hearing, you might think it's a little bit too high pitched. But when you actually add this to a recording, your bass is supposed to sit in the bass area and not your guitar. And if you're constantly fighting with the bass and the guitar, it makes EQing your mix that much more difficult. But the thing I like to do is add some reverb. Take that up or down, whichever way you like to do it. But to me, it gives a little more live feel to it. If you're playing in a big room, you probably really don't need to add any reverb to your signal. If you are close miking your amp in, say, a studio situation, or maybe you have the amp off stage at a venue, and you're miking your stuff, you might want to run a bit of reverb. thing I do is I actually add some compression. Kind of running the compressor as a little bit of a boost, so it gives me a little bit more, I don't know, just kind of. So when AC/DC recorded their Back in Black album, it was said that Angus was using his Marshalls, but he also had a, let's get some of this gain down so you can hear me. He was using a wireless pack that kind of boosted his signal a little bit. With Eddie Van Halen, he had, I believe, he had like this Variac switch deal that kind of helped boost the signal a little bit too. You can watch some videos on that, I'm sure. But that's kind of what I'm emulating using that compressor, which is not normally what you use compression for, but it does give me that vibe that I'm looking for. So anyway, if you're running kind of a really dry head or dry amp, I suggest get yourself a gain pedal that's got a lot of, I don't want to say a lot, but it has bass, middle, and treble adjustments. You can adjust your gain, and that can give you a few more options. And the one thing that I definitely just want to steer you away from is don't add so much bass to your guitar. Especially like if you're getting into recording 7-string guitars, 8-string guitars, it's got enough bass on its own. You don't really need to pump the bass on the amp. When you're sitting at your home and you're jamming by yourself, it's probably not going to sound as good without the bass there. So kick it up a few, but just realize, like, if you're going to practice with your band or you're going to be playing a show, bring that bass down, and it'll actually help quite a bit. And I was watching some videos on, I was kind of, you know, tone hunting years ago on AC/DC, and one of the things I was surprised about is how hot they run their gain and their treble, but the bass is just like way down. I said gain and treble, I meant to say mids and treble. Treble was pretty much pegged out. Bass was only, it was like 2 or 3. So anyway, there you go. Hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. God bless.